When you wish upon a star, the star may give you Disney adventures. Though I don't know why you just wasted your one magical anything-at-all wish on a retro 30-year-old magazine. That's what eBay's for, people. But yes, it's time for another Disney Adventures magazine look-through. Today we are looking at the July 1991 issue, which technically means that this came out in June because, like I said, the date on the title is just when the newsstands are supposed to take it off the shelves. And unfortunately, I don't have any caption contest results to show you because the latest caption contest didn't get any results. But as a reminder, if you would like to be entered into the caption contest, please check out the community tab on my YouTube channel, look for the most recent picture, and submit your own caption. And if it's funny enough, I will include it in the next video of a look through Disney Adventures. Check it out, and I hope to see your submissions. Anyway, today's issue is featuring Billy Campbell as the Rocketeer. Or technically, it's just featuring the Rocketeer. Yeah, we'll get back to that in a minute. The Rocketeer blasts off and then falls like a lead balloon because this did not do well critically or commercially. I know it's become sort of a cult hit nowadays, but at the time, yeah, nobody cared. Everybody cared about as much as Dick Tracy, except the Rocketeer kind of has more of a legacy than Dick Tracy. Lost Days of Dinosaurs. The days of wine and dinosaurs. Cowabunga! Surfing's top guy. Ooh, we get a whole article about Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ever surf? I mean, they're like a group that contains all the awesome of the 90s, all the extreme of the 90s, and I think we've seen them skateboarding and roller skating, but never surfing, which is odd when you think about it. I don't know, there's probably somewhere where they surfed, some episode of the original cartoon or some comic book where they were surfing. I mean, technically being turtles, they could just surf on their backs, right? They could paddle into a wave and then the wave could pick them up and they just retreat into their shells and surf that way. Am I overthinking this? I probably am. Plus, comics, puzzles, and more. Yeah, and also video game reviews. Yes, they still have video game reviews in here. Also, dinosaur poster inside. Oh my gosh! A dinosaur poster? Oh, I feel so spoiled. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the dinosaur poster. Oh wait, I can't put up a dinosaur poster because I still have my awesome Chuck Norris posters up. New Kids on the Block, No More Games, coming in August. Yes, this was a concert they did on the Disney Channel to promote their remix album, No More Games, which is basically just their older hits, just given a more dance beat to them or a different chord progression or that sort of thing. It was supposed to represent a changeover from them being the New Kids on the Block to the New KO-to-B, the more adult, edgy version of the New Kids on the Block. No, they're not kids anymore. They are adults and they will be treated as such. Except the one album that they released under that name didn't go anywhere and they broke up. No, they get back together from time to time. Is this available in some format? Did anybody ever bother to record it and release it on some video streaming service? I don't know, nor do I really care. Here's our intro, and yeesh, I think they went a little overboard with the captioning and the different text formats because this just looks crowded. Ugh. Hello! If you could step into a time machine and go back in time, where would you go? Well, I'd go back to right before they announced the winners of that $1 billion lottery and buy my own ticket. That's what I'd do. Disney Adventures decided to go back millions of years to a land where people didn't even exist. Well, that land already exists. It's called Montana. We went to a time when dinosaurs roamed the earth. We saw dinosaurs bigger than elephants and giraffes. Uh-oh. Ones that ran faster than horses. Zoom! They made loud noises we never heard before. I don't know how they made those loud noises, because unless we have one of those 3D printers from Jurassic World 3 that can perfectly print out a voice box, I don't know what the dinosaur sounded like. Oh, they probably actually have those nowadays. And they ate weird things, even each other sometimes. You know, eating other members of your race is always preferable to eating at a Chinese buffet salad bar. These creatures were so huge and powerful, we wondered how they all disappeared. That's still a mystery, but we did manage to bring back some great stories for our big adventure section. Read on, and of course, adventure on! I keep thinking that that's technically a tagline for an MMORPG, but no, that's a Battle-On from the Adventure Quest MMORPG. Does that still exist? I haven't played that in like over a decade. Like, that was my first introduction to MMORPGs, and honestly, I just got tired of it. Oh, hey, a 2-page ad for Skittles. Is this our first 2-page ad? I don't remember getting a 2-page ad before, but apparently Skittles were so important to Disney Adventures that they included a 2-page ad. I mean, I love me some Skittles, so I guess this is justified. So we got the fruit Skittles, and we got the wild berry Skittles, we got the tropical Skittles, and we got the tart and tangy Skittles. Yes, and little known fact, if you actually hold up the Skittles in that way, keeping your arm in that exact pose, then they will create shadows exactly like that on the wall. No, seriously, check it out yourself. Also, that kind of looks like Pikachu's tail. Like, this is the part that's connected to him, and there's the furthest part. Of course, this is, 5-6 years before Pokemon, so like anybody would know that. Skittles, real fruit juice in every bite. An unreal experience in every bag. Taste the rainbow. Well, as long as it's Unreal 4, because I'm not too sure about Unreal 5. There's our table of contents. Again, they shrunk it down to only 1 page. And an ad for Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers Fudge Bars. Yum! Yeah, I'm an absolute sucker for these ice creams that are in the shape of a cartoon character's head and they have the gumballs on them. I know they taste like the lowest quality fruit juice ever, but I don't know, I have a soft spot for them. The problem is I can't really find them on their own. The only ones I've been able to find that I can purchase in stores are those SpongeBob SquarePants figure ice creams. Everything else I have to hope that an ice cream truck passes by and hope that they have any of these in stock. Of course, these Chip 'n Dale fudge bars, I'm pretty sure, have not been on the market in 30 years, so kind of sunk there. And here's all the fan mail. So first up, we have, I really liked your section on hidden treasure and how to find it. I liked it so much that I went hunting in my own backyard and was delighted to find an old Indian head penny. Thank you for opening my mind to the world of treasure hunting. Well, congratulations, Elizabeth Hiscox, from age 12, from Nevada City, California. And depending on what kind of Indian head penny you found, you have potentially made $50 to $1,500. Here's a picture of us at a fort in Old San Juan, Puerto Rico. See? My brother David and I decided to climb a hill of cannonballs. It was an easy climb for me. My father used my camera and took a picture of us. We had a great time. Well done, Jason Fonseca, age 10, from Enfield, Connecticut. I gotta say, it takes balls to climb those balls. I mean, are they glued together? Is there something fastening them together? Because what's keeping them from just rolling away? Sheer weight? I don't know, but I appreciate your bravery. I'd already seen aircraft carriers, destroyers, and fighter jets, but I'd never seen a submarine. I wonder if he or she lives near an Air Force base. But the other day, I was riding in my own neighborhood and saw a submarine. Ooh, was it painted yellow? It was a World War II sub called the USS Requiem. The Requiem for a Dream. My local museum had bought it and was giving tours of it. You get to go in it and see everything inside. It's amazing! Well, if the Beatles aren't in it, I don't know how interested I am. But thank you anyway, James Butler from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And here's our poem, Mother Nature. I like to look at the clear blue skies, to feel so nice, to rest my eyes. The roses so red and smelling so sweet, they feel so good just circling my feet. The trees all lined up in a row, and the feeling of my face as the wind does blow. Thank you, Jane Ann Mashler, age 13, from Yuma, Arizona. Especially since this is the most competent poem I think we've had so far, the most in-rhythm poem. Of course, at the end I'd say the wind doth blow, the wind does blow, kind of throws me off, but still, in terms of rhythm and visualization, not bad. I like to play football. I practice almost every day. My team doesn't have that many players. We're called the Wildcats. I am the head coach and I play too. Pretty impressive, Eddie Vinokur, age 9, from Brooklyn, New York. Let's hope your Wildcats idea has taken off and you're still playing today. I have a trampoline in my backyard. I take gymnastics. I've been taking gymnastics for 1.5 years. You might say I'm okay, but not too good. Well, I'm sure you've gotten better, Stacy Baker, age 10, from Dover, Ohio. Also say hi to the Dover boys for me. And here's the corrections page, which I love that they print these. I love that they have such a sense of humor about themselves that they will accept people submitting their mistakes. I am writing about your February issue. In your movie section, you said that the PayPal of Mikey and Look Who's Talking To had the voice of Richard Pryor. This is not true. I watched that movie, and Mikey's PayPal had the voice of Damon Wayans. I just wanted to keep you on your toes. I'm assuming that's how Amanda York, age 9, from Indianapolis, Indiana, sounds. Where are our toes? Can we come down now? Nope, not until we read this next one. Also, apparently that role was originally written for Richard Pryor, but he was really sick at the time, so they had to quickly recast him with Damon Wayans. Because, it was Richard Pryor. His filmography might be double what it was, but he was always getting sick or getting arrested or being put on some kind of blacklist, so yeah, they had to keep recasting. I found a mistake on page 19 of your March magazine. The Addams family didn't have a fire-breathing dog named Spot. The Munsters did. Hey, I pointed that out too. Yeah, thanks, Lauren Goebbels, age 11, from Granbury, Connecticut. Thanks for spotting our mistake. Ba-dum-tsh. I feel so vindicated having found a mistake that somebody else has pointed out too. And here's gallery fan art, weird shoe designs, weird futuristic shoe designs. So there's a shoe. Has wheels, has a jetpack, power laces, umbrella, headlights. Actually, headlights on a shoe. That doesn't sound that bad an idea. And then this one has laces and, on sale for only $60. Of course, in 1991, you could probably buy the entire NES library for that. So, yeah, here are shoes as seen by kids in 1991. And, I don't know, maybe one day Skechers will get bored. And here's another ad for G.I. Joe trading cards. We went over this in the last issue. I really don't have anything else to add, other than the G.I. Joe live-action movies are unbelievably boring, and I'm not surprised that we haven't really seen anything G.I. Joe related since then. And here's that contest for Andre Agassi that they talked about in the last issue. And as I said in that issue, yeah, Andre Agassi, even though he's not really known outside of his circle, is considered the king of tennis players. He was practically undefeatable between 1991 and 2006. And he is the only man to have achieved a Super Slam career, which was, he beat the championships, and then he got a gold medal in the Olympics, and then he got the year-end championships. And only one man and two women in history are able to boast that, so well done, Andre Agassi, and I'm glad that you finally decided that a wig wasn't your thing. But anyway, if you wanted to meet Andre Agassi back in the day, which meant that you had a 5-day Andre Agassi U.S. Open adventure, all-expense-paid trip for a family of 4 to New York in the U.S. Open, where the winner will interview Andre Agassi and can be seen nationally on TV on the USA Network. So, in other words, nobody's going to watch them because who watched the USA Network? But they got tickets to the U.S. Open, and they got to interview Andre. They got hotel accommodations, VIP treatment, lunch. Which, honestly, every time I've heard that somebody can win lunch with a celebrity, what does that even mean? Do they actually get to go to a restaurant and sit down at a table and the celebrity orders food for them or something? Or do they just, walk to a hot dog stand and the celebrity says, okay, kid, here's $5, hot dogs on me, see ya, or not? Probably not. I don't know, because honestly, having lunch with a celebrity would be one of the most awkward experiences of my life. Whether I was a celebrity or the person who won the dinner with the celebrity. Air transportation by Delta Airlines. You also got graphic warm-ups and Air Tech Challenge 3/4 shoes. Ooh, I don't know what those are, but they sound awesome. A Canon camera for both the winner and her parents. Okay, yeah, that's the grand prize right there. A camera like that in 1991. People would sell both their kidneys, their spleen, their liver, and both their eyeballs just for one of those. I know that for a fact. And you got the Aunt Andre's Court Club membership kit and t-shirt. I'm sure that'll last until the heat death of the universe. And in order to get all this awesome stuff, there are also first prizes. So first prizes got one of those cameras. Very nice, very nice. The second prizes got cool Andre Agassi outfits. You get to dress like Andre Agassi, right there, right? That is about as 90s tennis player as you can get. I don't know, this kind of reminds me of that old Billy Mays video parody. I will also include Billy Mays clothing. It gives you that Billy Mays look. Something like that. And then 25 third prizes gets free membership to Andre's Court Club. Plus a 1-year subscription to Disney Adventures. Oh, now that's the true prize right there. You know, forget about Andre Agassi and the tennis players and all that. Just give me the 1-year subscription to Disney Adventures. You know, I'll probably pay less than what I'm paying for these magazines now. All you have to do is fill out the entry blank on the next page and send it in. So there are all the rules. There's the entry form. Don't have to do anything special with this one. And then you cut it out and you mail it, and you probably have to include like $3 shipping or something like that. But why do you want to cut it out? Because if you cut it out, then you'll ruin the next page, which is on location with the party. Disney Adventures goes behind the scenes to catch the taping of the party's music video. Yeah, this is that group that they were talking about a few magazines ago. This was basically one of those young adult bands formed by former members of the all-new Mickey Mouse Club back in the late 80s, early 90s. And they were formed to cash in on the New Kids on the Block craze that was prevalent during that time. You know, just any young teen or even preteen singing group that could also dance a little bit. You know, we had like Marky Mark and The Boys and Another Bad Creation, Criss Cross. And then later on they morphed into the boy band craze that made up most of the mid to late 90s, you know, with NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and those guys. But yeah, the party, they had one album, did pretty well. I've heard some of their tracks. I don't know, they just kind of sound like New Kids on the Block leftovers. I mean, they're okay, but it's just basically a template. You know, they have a whole bunch of synth beats in the back, and they have the female members of the group singing background vocals, usually screaming out the name of the song, and then the boy members of the group are singing lyrics about, "Girl, you hurt me! I feel lost without you, but I need you back, babe! I need you back!" I'm pretty sure that there's just some kind of template that you can download into your audio editor that gives you an instant boy band or kid group song. All you have to do is type in a couple lyrics and boom, just a perfect AI generation. But yeah, they released one album. It did pretty well. They were hugely hyped by Disney Channel, including music videos. And yeah, like I said, they can sing, they can dance. They just don't really have anything to sing or dance about. They released a second album, didn't do as well, and then Disney Channel quietly dropped them, and then they pretty much fell off the map. Though they recently regrouped and are touring every now and then, so hey, not bad. And like I said, Dee Dee Magno, who is pictured right here, in fact, she's basically given most of the spotlight here. She's down there, she's right there, she's right there. So yeah, they obviously could recognize future talent because Dee Dee Magno would later be known as the voice of Pearl from Steven Universe. And she's done quite a few other voice acting projects, mostly for Disney, so hey, well done. It's nice to see rising talent that even then still had talent. And here's that wrestling ad for Cheetos. We've seen this over and over and over again, so moving on. And now this is interesting. I mean, one, it's a 2-page spread that I have to turn on its side to read, and, you know, that just does not fit in my camera. But also, this is supposed to be the celebrity spotlight, but it's not about the celebrity. It's not about Billy Campbell, who plays the Rocketeer. It's just about the Rocketeer himself. So basically, this is just promo material for the upcoming Rocketeer movie. So it's just they give details about, well, the beginning of the movie and the main plots of the movie. So, like, how did you become the Rocketeer? It wasn't planned. They found the rocket pack in his plane and strapped himself into the rocket pack. Tell us about the rocket pack. They found it in the plane. They don't know where it was there, but yeah, they turned it on. What's it like to fly like the Rocketeer? He loves flying, so that was fun. What did you do before you became the Rocketeer? Well, he was a circus performer. How fast can you fly with your rocket pack? Very fast. How high? As high as any plane, which, you know, back in the day, planes couldn't even really fly that high, so that's not really saying much. Are you afraid of heights? No, he loves being up there. Can anyone learn how to fly the rocket pack? I guess, but technically they destroy the rocket pack by the end of the movie, so... And what's it like being the Rocketeer? Oh, it's just great. He gets bean punched, throttled, smashed, and kissed. And they don't even include an ending there. They don't they don't have any sign off for any advice for people who want to be in your shoes. So I don't know. This just seems a little disrespectful. They could have interviewed Billy Campbell. They could have interviewed the actual actor. I mean, he had a career before The Rocketeer. He was in the movies and TV shows for at least a decade before appearing in The Rocketeer. So they could have asked him about growing up and his early career, about the shows he's been on, what he wants to do next. But no, they just threw together this quick fake mock interview, and which, like I said, doesn't even have a final question. Now, from what I know from the next issue, it's likely that this was just thrown together. Like the celebrity that shows up in the next issue was supposed to be here, but they couldn't get him in time to do the interview or the photo shoots, so they quickly cobbled this together to promote their upcoming movie and labeled that as the celebrity interview for this magazine. Which, if that's the case, then yeah, that's a little less disrespectful. I can more understand that. But still, I think that Billy Campbell is a great actor. I mean, I haven't seen that much that he's been in, but he did have a major role on the 4400 that kinda good, kinda bad, mostly forgotten show from the 2000s where all these people, like these 4,400 people, were abducted by aliens like across about a century, and then they were all brought back and they all have superpowers. It was confusing, but it was also fascinating. I really enjoyed the guest stars. I really enjoyed the powers and how they were trying to work it all into history, and they were trying to figure out what each power means, what each action dictated, because apparently the aliens were trying to actually, they weren't even aliens. They were like people from the future, and they were trying to rewrite history because their future was garbage. And it was pretty fascinating. It wasn't the greatest show ever, but it was okay to follow along with. And then along came season 3 and 4, and I just didn't care anymore. But yeah, Billy Campbell played Collier, who was like this big business type who was also kidnapped by the future, but brought back like only a few months later, at least a few months before the show started. And he started out really, really greedy, but then he actually got killed and he was brought back. So he was basically Jesus. He got brought back, and then he saw himself as a literal Christ figure, and he was able to drain the powers of anyone given superpowers. So yeah, he had one of the best character arcs in the show, in my opinion. In fact, I'd say that he was the best character in the show, but the show also included Jeffrey Combs, and let's face it, you have Jeffrey Combs in the show, he's gonna be the best thing. He's like a Bruce Campbell, or Christopher Lloyd, or Nicolas Cage. He's gonna overshadow anyone else in that movie. It doesn't matter how talented they are. But I digress. So now we're on the ticket section. We're in the movies and the music and all that, and this time they decided to put the music first. Starting with an article about Michael Jackson and Madonna. Now that Madonna has started hanging out with none other than Michael Jackson, don't be surprised if the two friends also start singing together. Michael's new album, Due Any Day in record stores, just may have a duet with her blondness in it. Oh, this is hilarious in hindsight. So yeah, in case you didn't know, there was a very brief time when Michael Jackson and Madonna actually went out, actually considered themselves a couple, which is just the ultimate clash of personalities, in my opinion. I mean, Michael Jackson, he's just this soft-spoken, wallflower, very private person who probably doesn't even know what sex is, whereas Madonna is just this outspoken, in-your-face, very public, very sexual person that has to have the last word in everything. So just to see these two together, it's like a cat dating a mouse. How do you think this is going to end up? But apparently it started out pretty well. Madonna took Michael Jackson to the Oscars as her date, and the publicity was pretty good for a while. And yeah, Michael Jackson did want a duet with Madonna. But then, of course, things turned sour. Madonna was a very domineering personality, and Michael didn't like that. And she was, of course, she was very sexual, so she was flirting with other men. Michael didn't like that. But apparently the breaking point happened when Madonna screamed at a little kid, and Michael Jackson said, "You don't talk that way to little kids." And that was the last straw. They separated, and they never tried it again. Though apparently they weren't enemies afterwards. Madonna even defended Michael Jackson during his allegations, so that was nice of her. And yeah, Michael did want to record a whole album with Madonna, but because of the ugly breakup, that project was scrapped, and the only song that was finished in the closet that was supposed to have Madonna in the duet was instead filled by Princess Stephanie of Monaco, who at the time also had her own singing career, a pretty successful career in Europe from what I understand. But then she went over to the States and her career faltered, and In the Closet would be her final professional singing project. But hey, she's still around, she's still doing stuff, she's still proving that she has more than just the princess title to her name, so well done. And then of course, as we know, Michael Jackson kind of faltered for a bit, but kind of came back into the limelight, and then wanted to be out of the limelight with all the allegations, and then he tried to reinvigorate his career with This Is It, and then he died, and now everybody either loves him or hates him. Whereas Madonna is still around. She stopped making movies. I think she stopped making music. I think she does like collaborations with other artists, but in terms of original stuff, she's basically retired. But if you want to see Madonna at her best, then don't forget to check out the 2005 critically lauded, commercially successful movie, Swept Away. I told the biggest lie I ever could there. Don't never ever watch that movie. Can anyone keep up with Tracy Spencer? The 15-year-old has hit the big time with her single, This House. She's so busy she had to give up her pastime basketball. Yeah, this is the obligatory forgotten celebrity that we seem to come across in every one of these magazines. So, Tracy Spencer. Who? Well, she was only 11 when she won the junior vocalist competition on Star Search, and she was immediately signed to a label and started producing dance tracks, which are okay. I don't really like dance tracks to begin with, but like I was saying with the New Kids on the Block and the Party, it just feels like there's some kind of template for a dance track. You know, you just put a beat in the background, you just go oons, 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 and some fake instrumental sounds, and then you just have the singer going, party, 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 party. And that's basically all her work sounds to me. I'm sorry. It sounds like Let the Music Play, which is probably my favorite dance track, but not. It's Diet Let the Music Play. Still, the fact that she was able to accomplish all this when she was just 15 is phenomenal. I am very impressed with her. Actually, no, technically she started when she was, 11, like I said. She released her first hit singles when she was 12, which, yeah, her first single, Hide and Seek, was all about, playing hide and seek and wanting somebody to hug and kiss her all over and imagining being in bed with them. And, yeah, she was 12 at the time. But still, it's very impressive that she managed to get a career like that at that age. And then she released another album, did some other singles in 1999. They didn't really take her anywhere. She did some background singing and some songwriting in the early 2000s, and then she just pretty much dropped off the map. She's just had a perfectly private life. Nobody really knows what she's doing anymore. Maybe she went back to basketball. Don't forget to pick up a copy of the new celebrity-filled album For Our Children, just released a few weeks ago. Yes, we covered this in the last issue, where these celebrities would just sing. They didn't sing Disney songs. They sung like folk songs and original compositions, but they didn't do any of the Disney songs, which if they did do the Disney songs, I would have picked that up, sure, but no, they just sing kids songs. Where else could you possibly hear Bruce Springsteen sing Chicken Lips and Lizard Hips? Did we want Bruce Springsteen to sing Chicken Lips and Lizard Hips? Did we want anyone to sing Chicken Lips and Lizard Hips? Did we want Chicken Lips and Lizard Hips in the first place? Anyway, in movies, Macaulay Culkin updates number 235. The sequel to Home Alone will probably be called Home Alone Again. Nope, it's just called Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. But they did get that fact right. He'll be on his own in New York City instead of Chicago. And that's pretty much the only difference between the two movies. Get ready for this follow-up to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. That's an even more hilarious title. No, it eventually became Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. No word yet on whether Macaulay Culkin will rescue the baby or play it. Okay, interesting joke to put in there because he had absolutely nothing to do with the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie. In honor of Father's Day, we want to know which TV dads are your favorites, and what about TV moms? A recent survey reported that the top moms are found to match the name of the show on the left to the name of the mom on the right. I don't follow any of these shows, so I can't tell you any of it. I do know that Roseanne and Roseanne Connor, yeah, that's basically the only ones. And as we all know, Roseanne still has a hit TV show to this day. She didn't say anything controversial about Michelle Obama and get kicked off her own TV show. Nope, didn't do that at all. Oh, nope, orangutans are racist. Can't show that. Oh, who cares? Screw Twitter. Check out the recently released video of the Jungle Book. They had an ad for that in the last issue. And then there's a Flintstones multi-cassette. Don't you just miss the days of VHS and only having like 2 or 3 episodes of a popular TV show on every single VHS? No, neither do I. And then 3 all-new Yogi Bear cartoons are also out on video. Ooh, the John Kay ones that featured Boo Boo going feral and confirmed that Yogi and Boo Boo were indeed a homosexual couple. Oh, no, wait, those won't come out for like another decade or so. Kevin Arnold, a nice guy, next season on the Wonder Years, grow up and mature, blah, 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 don't know anything about Wonder Years. And then look for Bud Bundy to grow up too on Married with Children. I don't know anything about that show, so I can't tell you anything. Though I do know that David Faustino down here, after he was done on Married with Children, went on to voice characters on The Legend of Korra and Winx Club, so hey, good for him. Great, good news for Baywatch fans. The canceled NBC series will be back this fall with new episodes. Again, this is absolutely hilarious in hindsight. So Baywatch, one of the shows of the 90s, one of the most popular shows ever that got like 10 seasons, was canceled after the first season. Yeah, they considered it too expensive and just not raking in the ratings, so they canceled it after 1 season. But David Hasselhoff, along with the other producers of the show, said, I think this show has potential, let's keep going. So they pooled together their money and made some budget cuts and brought it back. And it became America's guilty pleasure of the 90s, as well as Germany's guilty pleasure of all time. Saturday morning lineup will include cartoon series about MC Hammer, Bo Jackson, Wayne Gretzky, and Michael Jordan. Yep. Not to mention a new show about some kid named Macaulay Culkin. Maybe you've heard of him. Well, you just mentioned him, but yeah. So they're not wrong. MC Hammer went on to a cartoon show called Hammerman, which is a legendarily bad superhero show with some of the most inconsistent animation you will ever see in a show. Like, it looks like they just took the very basic storyboards, colored them in, and there's just it's a failure on practically every single level. On animation, on character design, on sound design, story structure. God, it is just a legendarily bad cartoon show, which, yeah, even though only 3 episodes still exist to this day, is still something you should probably check out. And then Bo Jackson, Wayne Gretzky, and Michael Jordan all appeared in Pro Stars, the slightly better cartoon where, again, they play sports-themed superheroes. And they at least had 13 episodes. In fact, I think all 13 episodes are available to view, unlike Hammerman. And yeah, they just traveled the world and they used their sports skills and gadgets to solve certain urban and environmental problems like gangs and strip mining and deforestation and, environmental messages, because the early 90s were all about that. And then, yes, Macaulay Culkin got his own TV show called Wish Kid, where he had a magical baseball glove, and if he wished while he punched it, then his wish would come true for like an hour or something, and then he couldn't use it again until the next day. And as was typical, his wishes often just got him into trouble, and he learned to appreciate just being a kid. And here are the answers to the Matcha Mom, if you care. And then we need Kirk Cameron and Fred Savage need to look out because Zachary Bostrom from the new series Harry and the Hendersons is trying to take over. Yeah, Zachary Bostrom played one of the kids from the Harry and the Hendersons TV show based on the movie Harry and the Hendersons, which is kind of a cult classic family movie. I don't know, I've heard it brought up, but I haven't really met anyone who actually enjoys the movie. But the TV show went on for 80 episodes. Well, almost 80 episodes, but that is just amazing to me. Just a long-forgotten TV show to have gone on that long and nobody remembers it. And then after Harry and the Hendersons, he just went on to stuff, just one-off appearances and stuff, and that's apparently what he's still doing today. Meanwhile, R.J. Williams is the host of Wake, Rattle, and Roll. Well, actually, when it moved to the Disney Channel, it was called Jump, Rattle, and Roll because originally it was made by Hanna-Barbera as a very early show for kids to watch right before they went to school. And it featured R.J. Williams right there, and he had a robot assistant and a goofy inventor uncle, and they had some comedic short live-action skits that usually just took place in the underground basement laboratory, followed by some cartoons that were produced specifically for the show by Hanna-Barbera, one of which was about a group of pets that were all based on classic Universal monsters like Frankenstein, Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein, that sort of thing. And then the other was kind of a follow-up to Wacky Races, except everybody had a monster truck that they raced in. And apparently it did pretty well. It's mostly forgotten today, like the Harry and the Hendersons TV show, but it did well enough for Disney Channel to adopt it, and it ran for a couple seasons, so well done. And then, of course, R.J. Williams, as I say here, he's the voice of Kit on Tailspin. I'm having a great time with my career. When he gets older, he wants to be a director. Well, he kind of accomplished that because when he became an adult, he founded Young Hollywood. Yeah, Young Hollywood, the media phenomenon that, from what I understand, mostly focuses on, well, young talent, mostly movies and TV, but also sports. Just, if you're young and famous, then they'll come interview you. And he's the founder, and it's been going great from what I understand, so well done, R.J. Williams. It is fantastic to know that a child actor not only went on to great things when they were an adult, but became such a figurehead in the media industry themselves. So, well done, well done. And here's some Rocketeer media, some Rocketeer merchandise. This is all the stuff that they were trying to promote during the Rocketeer movie. And most of the stuff you can get on eBay for practically nothing. Yeah, I looked into getting the plane and the figure, and you can get both of those today for only about $20. The shirts, I'm pretty sure you can get brand new shirts of those. You can request brand new prints of those. And the watch, I couldn't find anything about the watch, but it's just a basic digital watch, so who really cares? Zoom in on Rocketeer products at a store near you. I don't think any store is selling those anymore, if they even did at the time. And let's dive into our first comic, Tailspin, the Ruby Monkey Head. Okay, Don Carnage is chasing Baloo and Kit. For the second to last time, you fat furball, land and prepare to be pillaged. I, Don Carnage, so order.
Sorry, Donnie, but we're not filling your order. Eat our prop wash, Carnage.
Very well, my little bearhead. Well, that joke doesn't even make any sense. He's not female or little, so I don't know. You forced me to use my latest ultimate weapon, the tar bomb. Oh boy, it's not gonna cover them in tar, is it? It's not gonna turn them black, because I really don't want to have to talk about Song of the South again.
Huh, that bomb is well named Dudsville.
Baloo saying Dudsville, that's funny. But no, it sploogies. Ew, all over Baloo's sea duck. Uh-oh, Papa Bear, we got trouble with the capital T, and that stands for tar. Well, at least it's not trouble with the capital T that rhymes with P that stands for pool.
Tar Nation.
That's funny, too.
That blasted tar gummed up the motors some fierce, little britches. We're gonna have to land in the dreaded, mysterious Sabuki jungle.
I hope the natives aren't restless. And I hope they're drawn non-stereotypically. Oh, who am I kidding? It's a comic from the early 90s, of course they are. I can't see.
Yummy yippity, this reminds me of Mama's fudge.
Pish posh, an intrepid air pirate can fly on instincts alone. Pull up! Up! Well, you're at the controls, so you're the one telling yourself to pull up. And apparently you don't. My instincts just told me we crashed. Well, what have we here? Just begging to be plundered by a dashing fierce pirate like myself.
Bananas and guavas?
Maybe coconuts too? No, lint brains. Jewels and ancient relics. Finally, I have found treasure worthy to be looted by Don Carnage. Who is me, yes? No?
Oh, a native jewelry store.
I could use some cufflinks. This is too good to be true. Not a single savage is on guard.
Then those guys must be married.
Okay, that's another good one.
Not 1, but 5 spear-toting guards.
Whatever you want to say. I knew it was too good to be true. Come, I will think of a brilliant scheme to get those goodies. Well, in his defense, the natives just left their tribal treasure right in the middle of the tribe where anybody could grab it, including the tribal members, so...
Why, I got a good mind to send Carnage a cleaning bill.
Save the postage. You can just give it to him now. Ah, Baloo, I feel so very terrible about your poor plane. Permit me to give you this small token of apology, yes? No?
What the devil is it?
Something that'll bring you luck, of the very nasty variety.
That bear holds a legendary ruby monkey head. It must be returned now.
Yoo-hoo! All savages! We are over here stealing your icon. Come and get it. Oh, brother, this looks like a royal frame-up.
Cool your props, kid. I'll have us winging homeward in no time.
Well, considering you just blocked a spear with your bare hands... bare hands. I don't think you're gonna have any trouble taking them on with one hand tied behind your back, dude. But apparently you do.
Minutes later...
Why am I not surprised we're tied to this burning raft drifting to who knows where?
Oh, maybe I ought to brush up on my conversational Sabucanese.
Papa Bear. I'm nobody's toast. Where did he get that? Did he hide his air flyer, his air glider, underneath his toenails? Also, in this panel, no, his feet aren't even tied, and then suddenly they're tied. Also, I thought his glider was silver, not red, but apparently it's sharp enough to just slice through the ropes. Now for you, Baloo!
Don't you waste any effort on old Baloo, buckaroo!
And you waited so long to snap the ropes that you could have easily escaped from... Why?
Guess the Sabukis don't like us damaging their ropes.
Well, if you could snap them at any time, then why didn't you just wait until they were out of sight and then snap them? We'll mail them an apology. I don't know, postage to some South American rural jungle? That's gonna be way more than Baloo makes at Hire for Hire. This is no time to play with snakes, Baloo.
Snakes? You must have soot in your eyes, Kit. This here vine's a 100% authentic tree-swinging snake!
Baloo! Huh, the show couldn't afford costs, so they got his non-union cousin instead. Now this is a vine! Grab on, Papa Bear!
Sort of figure that's what I should do.
And what is Kit floating on? What is Kit hovering on? I highly doubt that there's enough wind in this area for him to fly that high and that fast. He's being propelled solely by black magic at this point.
Tell you what, kid, let's double back to the Sea Duck and skedaddle.
Baloo, look! I should have known! Don Carnage!
Better keep my vine revved up. Your plan dang near worked, DK!
What is that vine attached to for him to go so fast and so high up? The fat bear! Another pathetic entrance, yes, no? Will wonders never cease? You're about to cease breathing? Seize them! Yeah, what was your plan? They are going to be seasick after we're through with them.
Mercy me! I must have left that vine lying round where somebody could trip over it.
Yay! And they fall out of the balloon and are killed upon impact. So, thanks, Baloo. This is too easy! Ha-ha! Yeah, 2 questions. How are you flying around on that thing, and where do I get one of those? I quite agree, my little sweat droplet of annoyance. And suddenly his glider is gone as he just flies right into the net. Oh, it was a ghost glider all along. It was a mystical Goku Nimbus cloud all along. That explains everything. And now, like a little bitty fishy...
Okay, white flag, uncle, I surrender. Just drop, Kit.
Drop? Do my ears hear what they heard? Drop? But of course! Ha ha ha!
Very poor choice of words.
Did I ever tell you I hate to be laughed at? And being nibbled to death is right behind that. Well, he doesn't have his glider here, but suddenly it's falling right with him, and suddenly he's already on the glider, and he's being propelled upwards again. Seriously, I want this glider thing. This is not what I call sporting, and this I really love. And here's another subscription card. This time we have Bronson Pinchot from the last issue, and there's the Joe Montana and the Rick Moranis, and I think that's the Bob Saget. Yeah, I think that's the Bob Saget issue, but I can't really tell.
Watch your step, Donnie.
I'd rather watch you get impaled. Yo!
Before we say our fond farewells, we gotta get this stuff back to Sabuki's.
Hey, Dom, let's give Furface something. A monster headache.
Honk! Ooh, Janawi!
And you didn't do that in the first place. Why? There, you overweight baboon! Is that how you spell baboon? I think there's only one B, though I could be wrong. Also, I'm pretty sure there are anthropomorphic baboons in this world, so again, you have said something very racist. Your soon will be a memory once those savages deal with you. Well, in addition to calling them savages. And somehow they crashed through one of the tents, even though I don't know if they were even in the middle of the tribe at the time. I think we just compounded our problems.
Howdy, Chief. Sorry I've dropped in like this.
How does he know one of them is the chief?
Tie them to the anthill and pour syrup on them. Mind running that by me again, Chief?
We got a date with some nectar-loving ants, Baloo.
Looky, Chief, what say I get back all your stuff and the guys who took it, huh?
We can be back in no time, Chief. Well?
Man, those don't look like the picnic sort of ants, no siree.
Please, Chief, we're our only hope of ever seeing your idols and stuff. Oh boy, did they have to coat them with a white, sticky, unrecognizable substance? Ugh.
You, Bear, go and bring back what is ours and the boy goes free. But if you do not hurry, the ants will find him.
Hurry, Baloo!
Buck up, kid. I won't let you down.
Well, they gave him a canoe. That was nice.
Come on, girl. Little Britches is counting on us.
Ah, the spoils of victory. Crime pays, yes, no?
I got my hand stuck in this cookie jar.
That is not a cookie jar, Nitwit. It was an incredible, valuable object of art. Perhaps with my wondrous hand-eye coordination, I could go, blah! Here's some glue. Whoops! And now everybody's getting coated in white, sticky, unrecognizable substances. Yay! Get away, you fool! No one touches a dread pirate, not even my mother!
Uh-oh, trouble. Okay, DK, fun's over. You got an appointment with some ants down yonder, and you're already late.
And you are seriously deluded, my pudgy pest. I will personally blast you out of the sky. Yep, realistic gun, bullets flying directly at Baloo. Gotta love it.
And I just did the windows. Boy, that riles me.
Hurry, Papa Bear, hurry! Oh, God, the positioning and the trail of the white substance does not help. I feel like this video is going to get flagged. Ding, ding! Oh boy, I got lucky. An pirate is never lucky. My genius gives you all talent. Now finish the job.
Looks like I'm down to one engine. Well, what I lack in power, I'll make up in skill.
You're down to one engine. Is that why both propellers are still spinning? Also, I've always wondered, how can a plane stay upright when one engine is down? Wouldn't that make it, like, side heavy? Wouldn't it fly in circles or something? I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be able to do such tight maneuvers like this if it only had one engine. Yow! Band down the hatches! Hide under your bunks! This will be my finest hour. With one well-placed volley, I will send that bulging Bruin to his deserved doom. Gotta love the thesaurus that these writers are poring over for Don Carnage. The smoke! Blast! Even I cannot see through smoke. My amazing instincts will help me find the target. Hey guys, take your time. Maybe catch a few winks or something. Yeah, I think I brought this up in a previous issue, but technically the most dangerous jungle animal is the ant. Jungle ants are huge, merciless, and always hungry. They will pick you apart before you even know what's happening. You'll have better luck against a jaguar than a colony of millions and millions of jungle ants.
Man, oh man, even I can't fly with no engines.
Holy crap! So, Don Carnage just shot a gun which ricocheted off a rock which perfectly hit the other engine of the Sea Duck. Don Carnage, why are you into piracy? You could be making millions at air shows. Yeah, Saturday morning cartoon from the 80s. Do my ears tell me that Chubby Cobb is a cooked goose? He's finished. Kaput. Bye-bye. And history.
Somebody, namely me, is gonna let the air out of Donnie's party balloon, and this flare gun ought to do the trick.
So the good guys aren't allowed to use guns, huh? So the bad guys can fill the good guys full of holes, but the good guys have to rely on other practical weapons or other weapons that aren't exactly weapons like flare guns, huh? I don't know, I'm done questioning the logic of this show. But yep, he burst Don Carnage's bubble there. Baloo! You have not seen the last of the dread pirate, Don Carnage! Oh, I'm a goner.
I'm declaring this here picnic null and void.
Yeah, I really believe he did all of that, like getting down the river, getting to his plane, fixing up this plane, going up in the air, taking down Don Carnage, landing his plane somehow with 2 busted engines, and getting to Kit all before the ants reached him. I completely believe that. Baloo, you saved me!
Sorta looks that way, and sorta looks like Carney's done for.
Quickly, man, pull this back home while my incredible mind comes up with yet another daring dirty deed. Yeah, you're in the middle of no man's land. I don't think a little log and some oars are gonna get you anywhere. Especially since the natives have already found you and, you are one stuck... What is Don Carnage? Is he a wolf? A fox? I know there's some kind of South African jungle dog, but I can't think of the name right now. When are we gonna tell Ms. Cunningham, Baloo?
The whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sorta.
Well, it's good that they're sticking around to fix the huts, even though the roof, I'm pretty sure, was made of animal skin and not wood. Also, both of your engines are out, and they're probably leaking gas, so how do you expect to get home? It's the end of the episode. All questions are moot. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Also, no Rebecca in that comic. That makes me happy. And here's an ad, yet another Rocketeer ad for some Rocketeer merchandise. So they had a Rocketeer comic, and it came with 3D glasses and an audio tape. So while you were reading along with the comic, you could have the pictures pop out at you, and you could listen to voices and sounds as you read along. I have heard that this was a popular thing for a while. Back in the 80s, like 70s and 80s, they had like books or comics on record. So you played the record and you read the comic and you could hear voice clips and sound effects and all that. So this is just the next step. Put it on tape. And yeah, even this little bit of merchandise isn't worth that much. You can find one of these complete sets on eBay for about $10. So if you want more Rocketeer in your life, then there you go, hunt one of those down. And look at that, we're not done with Dushan Gershi. He just needed to take a break from last issue in order to go on more adventures. But this time, it's the Elephant's Charge. In this real-life adventure, our explorer Dushan Gershi takes you on the first part of his journey with the Maasai warriors. Read part 2 of this incredible story in our next issue. Oh, spoilers! You just said that he survives. But yeah, in this adventure, he goes on a trek to find the Maasai warriors of Western Africa, and they are fierce warrior tribes to the point that in order for somebody to become recognized as a man, they have to kill some cows or they have to kill a rival tribes member, but in this case they have to go out and kill a lion. You know, I wonder what wildlife organizations and PETA and all those guys, I wonder what they say about these rural tribes going out and killing animals for the sake of tradition. Like, do these tribes even exist anymore? Have they been, like, herded up into conservation areas or something where they're not allowed to hunt? I don't know how the modern world treats these native tribes. But yeah, the tribe sends men out to go kill a lion, and the men, they're not considered men until they go kill a lion, so there are like 25, 30-year-old men who are still called boys, or as they call them, morons. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce that, but I'm going to call them morons. I'm sure that word means exactly that in their language. So Dushan Gershi goes out with a guy who needs to go kill a lion to be considered a man, but the guy doesn't like the look of him. He thinks he looks too weak, and so in order for Dushan Gershi to prove himself, he has to go scare off an elephant. Now, he's taught that they like to tell jokes they like to play pranks on outsiders, so when they all laugh, he thinks, okay, that was just a joke. But then he tries to accompany the guy, and the guy says, nope, you actually have to do it. You have to go scare off a off an elephant. So he comes up with a pretty ingenious way of how to scare off an elephant. He just goes and asks somebody in the tribe how to do it. Somebody in the tribe comes up to him and asks how they do it in his country, because as he says right here, it was as if he imagined that in the United States, we are in the habit of stopping elephants every time we went to the supermarket. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that in a big city, just going to a supermarket is considered a long and dangerous journey that you might not survive. But yeah, this little kid asks him how he's going to stop the elephant, and he just asks the little kid how he would stop the elephant. So he has to make the elephant angry, and then he has to make him look very small, and then as the elephant is charging, he has to make himself really big and scream at it. And because elephants have very poor eyesight, they can't make out what's actually going on, so they just turn tail and run. Which, yeah, is ingenious. That's how you scare off a bear, from what I understand as well. But yep, he does that, and apparently he had like a 50-50 chance of it working. He could have succeeded, or he could have been trampled. But he succeeded, and he was considered worthy enough to follow the guy off to go kill a lion, so wonderful. And we will read more about that in our next issue. Meanwhile, there are a bunch of other coming-of-age celebrations around the world. We have the Kenya people, they dress like girls and drink milk mixed with cow's blood. That doesn't sound too bad. American Apache girls dance for 4 days straight. I had a very terrible joke there, but I'm not going to say it. Japanese kids put on traditional kimonos and go to City Hall for a speech from the mayor. That's nice of them. Mexican girls get a pair of high-heeled shoes on their quinceanera, I think that's how you pronounce it. And then we have the Jewish and the bar mitzvahs, and the rich and high society girls all put on white dresses and go to debutante balls in order to show off to all the men that they are marriage material. Meanwhile, for everyone else, if you are to be considered an adult, depends on how much college debt you have accrued. The more you have, the more adult you are. And here's a kid's submission about fossils. They learned about fossils. One of the walls of a post office had limestone with fossils in it, and they learn about fossils. They go digging for them, and so fossils are made when mud presses down on a thing, and then just more and more mud presses down, and eventually it leaves an imprint of the thing. Sometimes it even preserves the thing, or at least part of the thing. So they thawed out a part of a mammoth and even ate some of that elephant. Can't be any worse than Spam. And they got a little digging kit, and they want to go looking for fossils. Which, from what I heard, you're not supposed to do. If you ever find something you think is important, then do not dig any further. You need to find a professional. You need to find a professional digger who specializes in this sort of thing and tell them. Otherwise, you risk destroying something very important. You know, I actually found a bone, like a fossilized bone, in my backyard as I was digging in a mud pile, just for the sake of digging in a mud pile. It was like 3 feet down, and I don't know, I found a fossilized bone. And I didn't find any more, but I don't know, I wish I did tell somebody back then. I mean, who knows, maybe I discovered a whole new species of dinosaur back then, and I could be living the high life now. And here's a little article about the Tuatara, who is basically the last dinosaur. It's a little 2-foot-long lizard that was originally much bigger during the time of the dinosaurs, but its bigger cousins died out with the dinosaurs, and somehow this managed to survive the Ice Age and all the other changes in the world, and they still exist. Well, in small numbers. They mostly exist in Australia and New Zealand, some scattered islands, and they are endangered, but they have been protected for over a century, so where they are living, they are mostly protected. They can mostly live without issue. But yeah, the Tuatara, they have 2 rows of teeth on the top and 1 row of teeth on the bottom. Actually, they're not even teeth. They're like a bony, scaly protrusion from the mouth. And unlike teeth, they don't grow back, so the older the lizard gets, the less bite they have until finally they just starve to death. And it's amazing that these things are still around because they don't breed until they're 20 years old, and then the incubation period is 15 months. So yeah, these things absolutely have to be in a protected site, otherwise they would go the way of the dodo. And it also mentions that they have a third eye, a lens, that according to this, they don't know what it does. Well, today's scientists have theorized that it allows them to get more vitamin D into their body because they're mostly underground living lizards. And it's bigger on the freshly hatched because those are the lizards that most need sunlight. While as they get older, it heals over and they can't use it as much. And apparently it also detects warmth, so they can more tell when the sun is out and when they need to get out and get some sunlight. Who knows, but hey, beats the alarm clock that I have to use. And here's a Rocketeer comic! Yes, we finally don't get one of those big adventures comics that are kind of non-fiction but put into a fictional context to kind of make it a story. No, this is a Rocketeer comic, which I don't know if this was written for the magazine or if this is from a previously published Rocketeer comic. And no, this is not written by the guy who created the Rocketeer. Who did write this? Peter David. Freaking yes! This guy is the king of nerd writing. Like, he has just written for any and all sci-fi fantasy stories. He's done Star Trek, he's done Star Wars. He's done his own original stuff. He's done Ben 10. He just pops up anywhere and everywhere, and he is always awesome. Well, okay, this story isn't that great, but it is competent. I don't think he put his A game into this, but it is still a fun story. A fun story that I'm not really going to read out loud because I read through this and it's okay. It's okay. I really don't have anything to say about it otherwise. That's the problem. I don't have anything to critique or comment on. So, yeah, like the Big Adventures comics, I'm just going to summarize. So, yeah, Cliff, or the Rocketeer, is watching over these two kids, but he has to run into the bank. But bank robbers go in and hold up the bank, and the kids stupidly get into their getaway car, which they left the engine running, and then the robbers get into their car, take the kids hostage. Cliff quickly gets into his Rocketeer garb, chases after the car. The kids almost cause a crash, and the Rocketeer shows up just in time to save the lady, but not her car, so her life's over anyway. And then the Rocketeer flies off, and apparently he took his time and just waiting for the police to arrive, but he somehow managed to take off just in time to keep following them, and they shoot at him. He doesn't get hit, but they realize that they have hostages, so they put a gun to the little kid's head and tell them to stop following them. And then the Rocketeer comes up with the great idea. So at the other end of a tunnel, the thieves see two lights coming towards them and they bail out. But it turns out that it's the Rocketeer holding two flashlights coming straight at them. And the thieves somehow are not dead from bailing out of a car at top speed, and they are arrested. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. And admittedly, here's an instance where the Rocketeer kind of works, because I think I've said this before, the Rocketeer is the stupidest idea for a superhero ever. I'm sorry, there's just nothing about him that screams superhero. So what can he do? He can fly. And what does flying have to do with being a superhero? Okay, yeah, it's impressive that you can fly. It's impressive that you can do heroics with it, but you can't really do that many heroics. I mean, you can fly. And like I said before, that kind of just makes you a bigger target. Yeah, people can just shoot you out of the sky like a duck. In fact, I would imagine that would make it harder for you to use a gun from flying all the way up there. And technically, his rockets strapped on his back like that shouldn't be launching him into the air. That should just make him do cartwheels and slam him right back down into the ground. And then, of course, the helmet. How does he see out of that thing? And apparently the fin is supposed to help him guide, but, this being fantasy, it doesn't really play into that. There's no evidence that it actually helps him. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just not seeing any super heroics from this guy. I mean, the Flash, he can run really fast. He can, create tornadoes and punch somebody a billion times before you even feel the first. Yeah, running really fast is a superpower. And then Superman, he can fly, or hover, rather, and he has super strength and laser eyes. And then Batman, of course, has his arsenal of gadgets. In fact, if the Rocketeer had an arsenal of gadgets, if he had a whole bunch of stuff that he could use while he was flying, like, I don't know, little boomerang things that could lock onto a target or something. I don't know, maybe they have those in other Rocketeer comics, but just with the backpack alone, that does not make you a superhero. That makes you the worst superhero, one of the worst superheroes I've ever heard of. Now, if he used it for stunt performing, that's great. Yes, he would do very, very well in stunt performing. If he used it in his circus, I think he would make millions just by jetpacking everywhere. By using it for crime fighting, yeah, in the real life, he would get killed. He would get killed before he even took off because, like I said, the jetpack would just spin around and bury him into the ground. And here's another yummy M&M's ad. Justin Bieber yummy song. I haven't actually heard it, but there you go. There's another yummy thing that I've referenced. And here's the main feature for this magazine, The Big Adventures, and this time we're looking at dinosaurs, or dinosaurs rule, as they say here. As you can see by this dinosaur who is swallowing another dinosaur whole. Well, that was rude of him, he didn't even ask. And oh god, look at his eyes. He is getting off to this as much as probably some other people are seeing this picture. Oh god. They were big, they were bad, they were beautiful, well, cute for giant lizards anyway, They were feasting on each other for 150 million years. Who were these guys? And step back to the time when dinosaurs rule. So yeah, it's all about dinosaurs. Except it doesn't even really have that much about dinosaurs. It's basically all the dinosaur stuff that we learned since kindergarten. I mean, I grew up with the Land Before Time film series. I was a little obsessed with dinosaurs for a time, and yeah, I knew all this stuff growing up. I knew everything in this magazine. Of course, you know, not everybody had my life, and this is probably their introduction to dinosaurs, but I don't know, I just have very little to comment on. So yeah, back in the day, all the continents were stuck in one. There was Pangea. Over millions and millions of years, it started to break apart. And so there's the Triassic, there's the Jurassic, there's the Cretaceous, and there's Earth today. But they don't bother to show us Earth 50 million years from now, so they're lazy. Temperatures were warmer, and the dinosaurs lived near the water, or at least that's what we think, because dinosaurs that lived in the forests or the mountains do not have fossil records. We know what dinosaurs look like, what color were they, earth tones, and dinosaurs dominated the Earth during the Triassic period, about 225 million years ago. Most walked on four legs, and then they had the bat-type dinos, or actually, they're technically not dinosaurs. Yeah, it even says here, pterosaurs are prehistoric flyers, but they're not true dinosaurs. Though I kind of hate it when people get pedantic about that, you know, that they say that, oh, Petrie shouldn't be in the Land Before Time because he's not a dinosaur, or that one character from Kung Fu Dino Posse shouldn't be in the show because he's not a dino. And it's very, very, very sad that people care enough about Kung Fu Dino Posse to argue about it. The ichthyosaur was probably built like a poipus. Well, I'm glad that at least one of these dinos had a poipus. And yep, we have dinosaurs that look like giraffes. The giraffes took over for the dinosaurs when they died out. At the very end, there were probably more dinosaurs than ever before. Then they suddenly died, just like that. Nobody knows why. I believe I'll get into that in a second. They bring it up again. But here is a poster. Here is that dinosaur poster that they promised here, and yeah, it's just your basic educational dinosaur poster, which I'm sorry I don't have anywhere to put on my wall. Let's see. It's a big one. It's a 3-pager, so yeah, that's not going to fit on the camera, is it? Just barely. Can you see that? Can you see that if you set your resolution on 4K? Maybe you can see that. I don't know. But we have the Triassic period, we have the Jurassic period, and we have the Cretaceous period. And it's absolutely hilarious that the Jurassic Park movies are called the Jurassic Park movies when most, if not all, of the dinosaurs are actually from the Cretaceous. In fact, if I remember correctly, so yeah, Stegosaurus is from the Jurassic period, so technically Stegosaurus and Apatosaurus were dead by the time of the Cretaceous, which is when the Land Before Time film series takes place. So, we're talking about a fantastical kids movie and kids series from the 90s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, so I don't think being factually correct was first in their minds. There's the other side. We get certain dinos from the Triassic, Jurassic. Yeah, these are just basically these are all the most popular dinosaurs, the dinosaurs you've probably heard of, thanks to, once again, Land Before Time and Jurassic Park and, God forbid, Dink the dinosaur. There was also Dino Babies and Denver the Last Dinosaur, if I remember my Saturday morning cartoons from way back when. Yeah, we were just crazy about dinosaurs back in the early 90s, which I guess was better than the babies phenomenon, the Muppet Babies and the Disney Babies, Looney Tunes Babies, Flintstones Babies. And here's the big guys. Why were dinosaurs so big? Part of the answer is that dinosaurs are reptiles, and reptiles never stop growing until they die. Yes, that is true. Even turtles and crocodiles are always growing, although slowly as they get older. That was the plot of Anacondas 2, if I remember correctly. These people found these flowers in the rainforest that could greatly extend human life. However, the snakes also found the flowers, and because they were living so long, they were just growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Which, hey, it's a terrible movie, but give them credit that they actually tried to give some sort of scientific reasoning behind the creatures getting bigger and bigger, just being monster creatures instead of, oh, they're runaways from a scientific experiment, or, oh, they're mystic guardians of a long-lost tribe. So yeah, that's 1 point. 2 points if you count the monkey. I believe, if I remember correctly, that another reason why they grew so big is that there was more oxygen in the air. There was much more oxygen. I believe, don't quote me on this, that most of Earth's oxygen nowadays is technically trapped underneath the ice caps. Yeah, during the whole Ice Age, most of the oxygen in the air was trapped in snow, and of course the snow piled up, and now a lot of that is either in the water or under the ice. Once again, don't quote me on that, that's just what I've heard. But yeah, way back when, there was a whole lot more oxygen in the air, and that's why we had a lot more animals growing bigger, because there was more oxygen to work with. There was more oxygen in every breath to power these giant beasts with. That's also why the insects were bigger, and, well, the mammals couldn't get bigger because they were always being eaten by the dinosaurs. Well, until the Ice Age, when the mammals finally got their chance. Also, there was no grass back in the day, but I guess with all the big plants, I guess they didn't need grass, unlike today's cattle and such. Yeah, here we go. So, the Dinos Disappearing Act. Why did dinos disappear? No one knows for sure. I believe about a decade ago, it was confirmed that everyone died out because the giant asteroid hit the Earth. I believe that we even found the crater somewhere. Is that somewhere in South America somewhere? But yeah, it was like an asteroid as big as Texas. It slammed into the Earth, and it caused this enormous dust cloud that blanketed the Earth and caused the Ice Age. And because dinos were so big and so not suited to colder temperatures, then yeah, they died out. There was just no food around, and they could not get the oxygen or the food that they needed, and they froze to death, and that was it. I mean, there were other theories, like Disney's Fantasia just said that that they went through major climate changes, and it eventually just became too hot for dinosaurs, and they all died out. Which, I don't know, might have happened if the asteroid didn't happen, because the dinosaurs would have just gotten bigger and bigger until they just collapsed under their own weight. Like there would just simply be not enough food or oxygen to support them. That's a theory anyway. But it does kind of make you think. It kind of makes you think that intelligent life is technically a mistake. It's technically the exception rather than the rule. I mean, what would have happened if the asteroid didn't hit the Earth? well, then the dinosaurs would have just continued being dinosaurs, again, until they got so big that they just died out. So no other life would have been able to develop. In fact, if the dinosaurs did die out that way, then it's likely that just another type of life would have taken its place, and they would have gotten big enough. They would have just kept growing and growing until finally they got too big and died out, and then another type of life would have taken its place, and so on and so forth. It's because of the Ice Age that animals were forced to be smart. Like, the smartest animals were able to adapt to their environment using their environment. So that's finally led to the monkeys and to the cavemen and finally to modern man. It's not like The Good Dinosaur, where dinosaurs and humans could have existed at the same time. No, because the dinosaurs would not have allowed the mammals to live. Nor would the dinosaurs have suddenly gotten intelligence, because there probably would have been no period where the dinosaurs could have gotten intelligence. It's only through struggle that evolution happens. Evolution is just another word for adaptation. So if nothing's wrong with your environment, then you just continue living the way that you live. It's why we have so many rich, spoiled brats nowadays. So yeah, when you think about it, intelligent life should be very, 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 very rare in the universe. Like most other planets that can support life probably only has life as big and intelligent as the dinos. I don't know if we can find any human-level intelligence or better, because the odds of that happening are just so astronomically high, they border on near infinitely impossible. That's my theory anyway. That's just how I see it. I may be 99.5% wrong. I'm sure somebody's going to correct me, and please don't get into a big argument about God and Adam and Eve and that sort of stuff, because I believe that stuff to a degree, but this just isn't the place for it. So that's my theory. If the asteroid never hit Earth, then we never would have seen humans. Humans never would have been even a remote possibility. Here's a little article about people interpreting dinosaur bones. Yeah, they thought that giant dragons walked the earth because they found dinosaur bones and they didn't really have developed science back then. So they just thought that the dinosaur bones were dragons, which, yeah, is logical for the time. Oh, they said Oriental dragon. Nope. Can't say Oriental either. Nope, can't cancel this book. Burn it. And, of course, they used dinosaur bones for medicine because that was a thing for quite a while. Like, even up to the 19th century Europe, they used mummies and fossilized creatures as medicine. I don't know why. I think it's just snake oil. And I think even back then they knew it. Actually, this kind of reminds me of a really stupid book that I read that was called Dinosaurs and the Bible, which, tried to tie dinosaurs with Adam and Eve. It said that, no, all life began at the exact same time, so dinosaurs lived with Adam and Eve, and the humans and dinos coexisted, and most of them died out with Noah's flood. But if you look at the book of Job, he talks about creatures known as the behemoth, which are obviously dinosaurs. And if you look at certain writings and art from certain times, you can see that they had giant creatures, which are clearly dinosaurs. No. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that one bit. I think that it's more possible that there is an omnipotent being guiding us than dinos actually living with us. Anyway, enough about that. Enough of the heavy stuff. So here's some books that you can read about dinos. I'm sure that they're all in date, but hey, you can make some paper dinos. That's nice of them. And here's a pop-up book. Who doesn't love pop-up books? Dinosaur data. Tyrannosaurus rex had teeth the size of bananas, but a lot sharper. And from what I understand, T-Rex was more of a scavenger than anything. They didn't actively hunt things. They just shoot off smaller predators from their kills. And of course, because of their teeth, they didn't chomp down and chew. They had to chomp down and swallow whole, which probably explains that picture from earlier. Yeah, that one. Triceratops' skull was 7 feet long and weighed 1,000 pounds. Dinosaurus had arms more than 8 feet long. Ooh, Slender Man. With hooked claws to rip the belly out of his prey. Again, Slender Man. And here's some dinosaur museums. I live in Utah, and I believe that there's a dinosaur museum not 50 miles from where I live. I have not been there since I was a kid, like a really young young kid, age in the single digits, so I don't know if it's still around, still active. I also remember I took my family on a drive-through animatronic dino exhibit, like a year or two ago. I don't remember much about it, but it was fun. It was fun seeing all the giant dinos moving around. And here's more about Andre Agassi. So this is basically what they were talking about earlier with joining Andre's fan club. So if you really want Andre's stuff, then join his club and you get a t-shirt and newsletters, poster, member certificates, cool photo, really cool members only stuff. And it costs $17. So yeah, if you wanted to get on the bandwagon, if you really wanted to show your Andre Agassi-ness, then, well, he had a fan club. Of course, this is the 90s. I'm sure everybody had a fan club. But is this I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first subscription that is not Disney Adventures related. This is the first time that a third party has presented their subscription in a Disney Adventures magazine. So this is a landmark. Kind of like Andre Agassi himself. Of course, I'm not going to cut out that coupon. It's going to ruin our DuckTales comic. DuckTales in Honey, I Shrunk the Ducks. Okay, here's Gyro. How does Gyro sound? I've done it! The world's first shrinking ray gun! It'll revolutionize shipping and shopping. You'll be able to build a skyscraper in Duckburg and mail it first class to Paris. Yeah, but wouldn't that affect everything that's inside that skyscraper? You know, that's a question I had all during the time Ant-Man and the Wasp was going on. Like when they were tossing around that building that was miniaturized, like how did everything in that building not also get tossed around? Like you would think that as soon as they opened the door, something would explode because all the machinery would be out of whack or something. In fact, wouldn't Hank Pym not have been able to grow back because technically his machinery would have been trashed? I don't know. I guess it's something you really shouldn't be thinking about.
Hey, this looks interesting.
Is that too heavy for you, Helper? Let me handle it. The Super Shrinker Reducer Way. Yeah, that's his little robot pal that he had in Season 2, if I remember correctly. He didn't really show up in Season 1, but I think he was everywhere in Season 2. I could be wrong. See? It even makes housework a breeze.
Rubberneck calling HQ! Rubberneck calling HQ! Gearloose is onto something big, or small, or just get over here.
I don't know how this Beagle Boy sounds, I'm sorry.
Later that day in downtown Duckburg.
Okay, he's coming your way.
Roger. That was the last errand, lads, and now I'm in the mood for a picnic lunch. Anyone care to join me?
Uncle Scrooge, don't you have work to do?
I don't think he does. I don't think he works. We never see him at work. And even when he's at work, I think he just does what CEOs do. They walk into work, they have a whole bunch of stuff handed to them. They say yes, no, or have the department head take care of it. And then they go off and play 16-hour golf. And then at the big events, they smile and wave and tell everybody what's coming up, and that's it. That's how they guarantee their $100 million paychecks, plus the $50 million bonuses. That is work. Every Thursday I head for the park. I always find a coin or two that's fallen to the ground. I'm not saying anything, okay?
Duckworth, look out!
You know, that gets me. His name is Duckworth, but he's not a duck. I don't know, I guess Beagleworth just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Goodness gracious, a woman with a baby! Hang on, sirs!
That's no baby, that's...
Fancy driving, McDuck. Ta-da! The Beagles, in full color.
Kind of reminds me of somebody from the Banana Splits. Though I don't remember what that guy from the Banana Splits sounded like either.
And twice as cute as any baby!
Now get out of the truck!
Was that the big guy saying that, or him? I don't care.
We've been tailing you, McDuck, all the way from the bank, and we want to help you with your load here.
You Beagles are asking for big trouble.
Now you're asking for big trouble, small fry.
Bless my bagpipes! Where'd this enormous boulder suddenly come from?
Uncle Scrooge, the Beagle Boys, shrink us!
I should probably do a more high-pitched version for their voices, but the nephews are already pushing my vocal cords as high as they can go, so I'm not gonna bother with that.
It was a gun, sir! Hey, this is more fun than tripping old ladies!
Oh, you found some of those mushrooms that they were talking about in the last DuckTales comic, huh?
See ya, Scrooge. Be careful, it's a big world out there.
Yeah, don't let anyone step on ya.
You think you've finished me, do you? Beware, you thieving rascals! You've not heard the last of Scrooge McDuck! It takes more than a little setback to put me out of business! You could almost say that I don't even need all my money because I am so financially sick. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Come on, we can't let them get away! And apparently a bit of a perspective change because otherwise that truck is very low to the ground. I mean, if the ducks are as big as the pavement stones, then I don't think they should be able to reach the bumper there.
We're too short. We can't reach it, Uncle Scrooge.
Duckworth can.
Right away, sir.
But Uncle Scrooge, now who can help Duckworth?
Duckworth's expendable. I'll just get another one from the catalog. I can. I wouldn't forget my favorite butler. Yeah, not friend or even employee, but butler. Yeah, thanks, I think.
Very, very good, sir. Thank you, sir.
I don't like this. We're almost the size of horseflies. Let's hope we don't get swatted.
Well, based on your size, I think you'd still be bigger than horseflies. In fact, given the size that we're seeing here, you're about half the size of your normal form, so I think you should still be able to get around. We need to reverse that shrinking ray they used on us. Assuming it can be reversed. Well, then you'll just get Gyro to build yourself a life-sized Uncle Scrooge robot, and you'll just walk around like Krang from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The original. Yeah! Boom! Or, you get bumped from the truck and you fall and you die.
Oh no! We're falling into that river! That's not a river! That's a sewer! Help! Hold on tight, Huey! They say alligators live down there! Do you think that's really true? It's true! Pull me up!
We can neither confirm nor deny the existence of sewer alligators.
There'll be no duck fricassee for our toothy friend tonight, young sir.
Way to go, Duckworth! Hey, Uncle Scrooge, here's what we need. Wheels!
There just so happens to be one old-fashioned skate right next to the sewer. Who am I kidding? It's a big city, of course there is. It's probably a big couch right next to it as well. Skates as large as a bus! There are some advantages to being small!
Sir, might I inquire as to how we're going to stop when it becomes necessary?
Again, we have inconsistent shrinkage. If they were able to climb the bumper on the truck back there, I don't think they'd all be able to fit into 1 foot-sized roller skate. Just me being pedantic. Not to worry, Duckworth. I was champion tobogganist in Switzerland. I could do this with my eyes closed.
Meow. I think you'll want them open, sir.
Wow! And yep, cat's chasing after them because what else does a cat have to do?
Oh boy! That cat's bigger than a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade balloon!
No, I'm pretty sure the Macy's Day Parade balloons are given a little more care, a little more detail than that. Now, the parade balloons in Fun and Balloon Land, however...
A hill! Just what we need to gain speed! But what about stopping, sir?
First, let's go! Then we'll worry about stopping! And they stopped. Wonderful. And they run into a fruit cart, because you can't have a chase without a fruit cart, even if you're that small. Also, a blue peach? That is not something found in nature. I would check the pesticides that this grower's been using.
Wow! I don't think broccoli could be so soft!
I'm pretty sure that's cauliflower.
I never dreamed apples could be so hard. Oh, now I know how Sir Isaac Newton felt. Ouch, sir.
How are we gonna find the Beagle Boys now?
Goodness me, it's my lucky day after all. A dime. See? I told you I'd find loose change today.
Uncle Scrooge, it's too big to carry.
I would comment on the size of the dime, but as we've seen a couple comics ago, apparently dimes are half as big as the nephew's hands, so that's technically small by comparison.
I don't think I have to carry it that far. Look!
Beagle Garage. Sir, could that be the Beagle Boys' new hideout?
That's certainly not known for their subtlety. Let's check it out. Wow, if that was any more convenient, you'd think that Gladstone Gander was in this comic. Well, jackpot it is! There's my armored car! But no Beagle Boys.
And look, Uncle Scrooge! The shrinking gun is up on that table! Only the table is taller than a skyscraper!
This is a high-level problem to be sure.
Might I offer a solution, sir?
Again, inconsistent height. A rubber band shouldn't be that long, shouldn't be that big to them.
Moments later.
Whee! Boy, look at him go! Yeah, and suddenly he's much smaller than he was. If they suggested something like they were getting smaller as they were traveling, like that was the main issue with them, then I wouldn't have a problem. But no, they're getting bigger and smaller depending on what the artist needs.
And soon...
Jaw will get loose! I should have known the shrinking gun was your invention! I'm gonna sue you for every dime you got, you friggin'... The Beagle stole it from me. I'm sorry they used it on you, Mr. McDuck. We'll soon take care of that. First, let's get you free. Heave ho, man! Hurry, the Beagle Boys are coming. I bought this power saw from the TV home buying station. They said it would cut through wood, steel, and even 3-day-old pancakes. Yeah, but can it cut through my mother's meatloaf?
Hey-oh.
Wow. And if this doesn't work, I also brought some backup acid, dynamite, and a 6-pack of torpedoes used only once by a little old lady from Pasadena. Hey, I know that song. I know what they're referencing. That means it's funny. Ha ha ha! Even though the torpedoes have nothing to do with the song Little Old Lady from Pasadena, so... there. There's gotta be a way to... Wait! I've got an idea, but first we'll have to get the Beagle Boys outside again.
Leave it to us, Uncle Scrooge!
Also, suddenly the tires on the truck are flat, even though we saw them a second ago and they were perfectly fine. So it's not just their size that's inconsistent.
Time to slice and dice this lock, fellas! Hey, wasn't there somebody locked in this cage? I'm sure somebody was locked in the cage, man. Wasn't...
Attention! Attention! This is the police! And the army! And the FBI! And the local librarian!
Oh boy, librarians are the scariest.
We know you're in there, Beagle Boys! Come out with your hands up!
Oh, crud, the cops! And the librarian! I'm 6 days late returning my book!
You read? You just seem like the kind of guy who'd light one up and watch Paradise PD. Probably the only person who thinks that's funny.
If you come quietly, there will be no shooting or late charges on your book!
As somebody who is actually afraid to go into libraries because of so many lost books and so many disapproving glances from librarians and such, yeah, I think librarians are actually scarier to me than police.
Shooting? We better do what they want.
Yeah, last time we made them mad, we didn't get no dessert in prison. Well, I'm glad you were sent to such a ritzy prison that they gave you dessert to begin with. You sure this'll work, Mr. McDuck? Of course it will. Just be ready when I signal. No, you're supposed to use your cane to bounce everywhere. Don't you remember your own video game? Oof. Okay, the first number is 7. No, it's 11. Ha ha ha, 7-Eleven. Gosh, I can't remember! You've got to remember, Mr. McDuck! Also, who puts a tumbler on the back of a truck? In fact, wouldn't a tumbler as a lock on the back of the truck be a bad thing? Because the truck is always in motion, so therefore the gears inside would have a chance to click into place and just open the back? That's just a theory on my part. All right! It's 47! Does that number mean anything? I don't know.
2 more turns of the dial later.
Click. Whoops! Gotcha! What are you holding on to? I guess it's like the wires from one of the lights because you crashed into the tree, but weren't the broken lights on the front? Okay, hold on. Do we see the back of the truck? No, the lights are just fine here, so I don't get it. I don't know what he's holding on to.
Hurry, sir! The Beagle Boys are returning!
Stole them, Duckworth! I don't get it!
There were no cops outside at all!
Hey, what's that?
Money?
Money. It's a crime. Look, the door. It's open.
This coin must have fallen out.
Scrooge's truck must be so full of money, it busted itself open. That's what I was talking about with the tumbler thing. We're stinking rich!
Aimed and ready, Gyro!
Okay, this should do it. Gyro, don't fail me now. Has he ever failed you? I mean, I know some of his inventions have kind of gone off the deep end, but they still did what they were designed to do. And yep, Scrooge McDuck grows back.
What? The truck's empty? Hey, who's closing the door?
I am. Oh no! And there never was any money, you greedy thieves! All I got from the bank was the truck itself! Well, yeah, he doesn't put money in his banks. He puts money in his money bin because he likes to dive into it more than he likes collecting interest on it.
Soon, with everyone back to size,
we'll be taking you to the police station now. Any trouble and I'll use a shrinking gun and mail you there in a very small box. Got it? Well, you should do that anyway so that they never cause trouble again. You know, and then you can sell them to a lab somewhere, have them collaborate with Pinky and the Brain. Okay, we'll be good, we promise. You know, there would be one advantage to saying so small. What, Uncle Scrooge? My money bin will be 10 times as big. Oh, and then you wouldn't need as much money, so you can just give most of your money away, and then you can just have a miniature money bin that you can dive in for the exact same effect. Also, I noticed that Duckworth didn't get as much appreciation in this as he probably should. I mean, he saved the nephews several times. He was driving the truck. He got them onto the table so that they could get to the shrink ray. I think he should have gotten a bit of a mention. Of course, if they did bother to give him a bit of a mention in a panel, it would probably go, "Good work, Duckworth!"
Really, sir? Well, then is now a good time to bring up my 50 cents a month raise, plus every other Sunday off?
Oh, now don't be insane, Duckworth. You'll be getting an extra sugar packet with your tea that I will pilfer from the Duckburg Diner.
Very good, sir.
And for the cyber section, we get pretty much what we've been getting for the puzzles section, so I don't know. This is just basically stuff we've already seen. Okay, it's not the same images that we've seen, but it's nothing new. It's just zooming in on stuff. I don't know, maybe kids, they wanted to know the story about stuff close up, so they wrote in and they actually made a whole article on it. I don't know, you could have just used these pictures for the puzzle section like you did the others, but hey, I didn't put this magazine together. But the true science is called photomicrography, and scientists use it to study everything from chromosomes and to fingerprints and blah, blah, blah. Camera doesn't need a lens because the microscope already has one, usually glass screen. Here are some of the weirder photomicrographs we found. This reminds me of the Cyclops. This reminds me of that handheld microscope that was a big thing back during the plug-and-play era. In fact, I have several Cyclops systems. I just have never featured them on my channel because I don't know what to do with them. I mean, they can see things very, very, very close up. They can zoom in and basically give you photos, well, not as microscopic as this, but still very zoomed in and impressively clear. But I don't know, that just doesn't make for a good video. What can I do to make an Cyclops video interesting? I don't know, and that's why I haven't featured them yet. But, according to these pictures, this is the eye of a black garden ant magnified, and there's the ant itself. And from what I understand, all these pictures are actually taken in black and white because the image is too small for color to be reflected off of it, something along those lines, so they just color it in later. And then this is Velcro. I'm pretty sure Velcro is not blue, though, and I do not want something that reminds me of sickle cell. And there's a hair that desperately needs some shampoo. There's your blood cells, at least your healthy red blood cells, and hopefully not the sickle cells that I just mentioned. Here's the inside of a disc. Yeah, a disc. Who remembers discs? You know, they were what we used before we just started downloading everything. Yeah, I got rid of most of my games because I can just get most games on hardware or digital download now. I'm just keeping the ones that are more economical for me to keep on disc, like Skylanders and remember those iToy things, iToy games for the PS2? That's also why I still keep around a PS2. One of these days I'm going to have to test out all the iToy games, aren't I? Anyway, this is a human skin with a blister. I can relate. This is the stinger of a honeybee, and as you can see, it's barbed, and that's why a bee can only sting once, because it literally pulls out the bee's intestines with it, so it may hurt for you, but it hurts even more for the bee. A new Zox maze? Actually, a skin on a human fingertip. Looks less diseased than mine. And this is the sticky surface of a Post-it sticker. I'm a little surprised they said Post-it sticker, but they had to put a TM next to Velcro. I don't know, is Post-it not TM? I've never looked into that. Here we go, video game reviews, all right! And, oh boy, yeah, we got some really good ones, because first up is Sonic the Hedgehog, the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, the game had just been released when this issue was printed. It's really hard to imagine a world without Sonic the Hedgehog. It's really hard to imagine that there were video games before Sonic the Hedgehog. And yeah, he was one of my first video games. Okay, I didn't grow up with the original Sonic the Hedgehog, but I did grow up with Sonic 2, and later on I found Sonic and Knuckles. I didn't find Sonic 3, I just found Sonic and Knuckles. And I was blown out of my mind when I could play as Knuckles in Sonic 2 by putting the Sonic 2 game on the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge. Like, I put all my other Genesis games on that Sonic and Knuckles cartridge to see if anything else would take effect, but no, it was just that one game. Well, technically 2 games, because it was Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, but I didn't own Sonic 3, like I said. But yes, this is what started it all. This was the Sonic the Hedgehog, the character that introduced blast processing for the Genesis. And yep, the classics are the best. You got the little blue hedgehog, and he's zooming around all these areas, and it's amazing how fast he can go without ramming into stuff, which is something that clones never quite got. There was Bubsy, of course. Bubsy had a similar ability, but he was always smashing into enemies, and it was like a one-hit KO, if I remember correctly, so that's one of the reasons why that game never took off. And then there was another game. It had a bird. He had to keep recharging at certain stations, but again, you had to keep slowing down because there was just so much crap in your way. But I don't remember what it was called, and probably nobody else does either. But yeah, here we go. First Sonic the Hedgehog game for the Sega Genesis system. What did they pack into the Sega Genesis system before Sonic, I wonder? Also, does anyone remember that this technically had a Master System release? No? Because nobody had a Master System? Okay. Sonic is the first superhero hedgehog. No argument here. I can't find a single other superhero that's also a hedgehog. I looked it up, couldn't find anything. His greatest skill is his ability to move lightning fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster, faster, faster. The player must zap evil insectoids, well, among other robotic animals, while collecting gold rings. Well, unless you believe that Dorkly Bits short where Robotnik says that they're gold-plated lead rings because, well, gold rings are ridiculously expensive. Sonic can run, jump, and roll. Come on, run, jump, and roll. Come on, run, jump, and roll. To help him survive this game, you have to think fast and react even faster. Yep, that's true. Tip: since there are many ways for Sonic to make his way through the mazes, always select the route with the most gold rings for Sonic to collect. These gold rings will give Sonic extra strength and help him survive against the ever-present enemies. I think that's another reason why the original Sonic the Hedgehog games have held up so well, because there are different routes for you to take. There are different ways to get through each level, so every time you play the game, you can technically get a new experience. You can either avoid the water, or you can skim on top of the water, or you can go over the water, or yeah, there's plenty of different and challenging ways to get through the game, even though it's all about going fast. So yeah, play Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic CD, and I think that's it. I don't know, they just seem to be making Sonic the Hedgehog games out of obligation now, and of course that's led to several incredible disasters like Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom. Sonic 3D Blast wasn't that fun. Yeah, I think that there are more Sonic the Hedgehog games than there are states in the United States, but I think like only 10% of them are playable, or at least games you actually want to play. So hunt those games down and have fun. Also, yeah, I'm going to address something. There's an urban legend that says that Sonic the Hedgehog was originally known as Mr. Mr. Needle Mouse, but they changed it to Sonic the Hedgehog because they thought that name sounded stupid. That's technically true and technically false. So, yes, Mr. Needle Mouse is a direct translation of the original Japanese. One word means needle, the other means mouse. But then you put them together and you get hedgehog. That's what it means in Japanese. So yes, if you translate the kanji separately, then it means Mr. Needle Mouse, but together it means something different. But no, he was never intentionally named Mr. Needle Mouse, even though, yeah, in a recent comic, he used the name Mr. Needle Mouse when he had amnesia, and I think that's pretty much the only official usage of that name. So no, he was always known as Sonic, but yes, technically a hedgehog does mean Needle Mouse. And now Double Dragon 3: The Sacred Stones. This is not to be confused with the arcade version called Double Dragon 3: The Rosetta Stone, I believe. No, this is not a port of that. This was made in parallel with that game. Though apparently the Japanese version of the Sacred Stones had a much more direct translation of the arcade, but during the American localization they changed the characters and the story and some of the level layouts from what I understand. But no, Double Dragon 3 on the NES is completely different from Double Dragon 3 in arcades. I mean, namely, they don't use the DLC that the arcades used, where you actually had to insert coins to unlock characters and weapons, and of course, once you used up the weapons, they were gone, and you had to put in more coins to buy more, and yep, that's considered one of the very first instances of DLC, if we didn't already consider Extra Lives as DLC. But from what I understand, while the arcade machine has gotten scathing reviews, the Nintendo version hasn't gotten that much better reviews. Apparently it's like the black sheep of the trilogy. I don't know, I haven't played Double Dragon. I haven't played the Double Dragon series. Well, while 1 and 2 are considered all-time classics, the third one has more of a mixed reaction. Apparently, it was handed off to a completely different company, so a lot of the mechanics are different, and it's apparently much, 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 much harder than the first two. I believe you only have a certain amount of lives, and when they're gone, you don't even get to continue. You're just dead. That's just what I've heard. I haven't looked deep into this, unfortunately. But what do they say about it? Marion has vanished and her captors are demanding that Billy and Jimmy Lee, I think you mean Bimmy and Jimmy Lee, ha ha ha, that intro text error, ha ha ha, deliver the 3 sacred stones in exchange for her release. The game features all new martial arts moves, including a mid-air summer assault. Each character has its own martial arts talents that should be used, except I hear that most of the characters are absolutely useless, so I don't know. Tip: in this game, the player can select from a menu of weapons that increases as enemies are defeated. When an enemy is chasing you, move quickly from side to side. If you keep weaving, the enemies will not be able to catch you. Selecting Razov to help fight the end-level bosses could ensure your survival. And that's funny, they gave a 4 to sound and control, but a 5 to challenge. Like, what does challenge even mean? Does challenge mean, like, it's very challenging, or it's a fair challenge, or what? They ended up giving it a 4.5, though. I don't know, this is one of the earliest games featured by the Angry Video Game Nerd, or the Angry Nintendo Nerd as he was known at the time, and apparently he really hated this. So I haven't played it, I just know that it's gotten a mixed reaction from fans, though not nearly as much as Double Dragon 4. And here's another video game. Blobbert is back! David Crane's The Rescue of Princess Blobette! Yes, this is a sequel to A Boy and His Blob, the kinda sorta cult hit for the NES. I don't know, it's like a puzzle game where this kid has a blob and he feeds him jelly beans, and certain jelly beans do stuff. And it's very challenging because you don't know where you need to do certain things. That's the whole nature of the game. You just wander around feeding the blob jelly beans, and every once in a while solving a problem because you're in the exact right space for one of his transformations to do the exact right thing. So I've never gotten into it, and apparently there was a Game Boy only sequel, and then they had a sort of reboot remake for the Wii a couple decades later. I don't know, it's gotten pretty okay reviews from most gamers, but it's just not my thing, and I don't know. I don't know why it's still around. And here's it's a ad for Zoo Books. You know that article back there, that article about the dinosaurs? That seems taken straight from Zoo Books. Even the illustrations look like Zoo Book illustrations, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just took that article from Zoo Books. Like if that wasn't something you can find in the dinosaur magazines of Zoo Books, which they're trying to get you to buy here. But yeah, Zoo Books are definitely a 90s staple. Like everyone grew up with Zoo Books in the 90s and sometime a little bit into the 2000s. I remember seeing paid advertisements for Zoo Books all the time when I was watching Disney Channel and Cartoon Network and such in the mid 2000s. Or was it the early 2000s? One of those. But yeah, each issue tackled a certain animal or a certain type of animal or a certain species. And they had all this kind of stuff when you signed up. And so if you really want to get your own Zoo Books, then fill this out and send in some money and be short some money because this offer is long dead. Where is the... I don't see an expiration date. Does it say on the back? No, there's no expiration date. So you can send this in and they will be legally obligated to send you your Zoo Books. Actually, I don't even know if Zoo Books are still a thing anymore. Do they still exist? I don't know. I really don't know. But here's some of those fast facts. If you lived on the sun, you'd probably weigh 2 tons. That's about how much 4 polar bears on Earth weigh. The sun's force of gravity is much stronger than the Earth's. So the stronger the force of gravity is, the more you weigh. Well, I think if you lived on the sun, you'd have more worries than weighing too much. I think that if you got to within like 1,000 miles of the sun, you would instantly vaporize. That's how hot the sun is. The tallest cornstalk ever grown measured 31 feet. That's about as tall as 7 Corvettes stacked on top of each other. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that the corn that grew on that was like, it made baby corn look like watermelon. Just before you're struck by lightning, all the hair on your head will stand on end. I think I was talking about this in an early issue. Yeah, it's technically easy to survive a lightning strike. All you have to do is, when you feel that all the hair on your body is standing up, then immediately squat down and put your hands over your ears. And you will be struck by lightning. It probably won't be pleasant. It'll probably be the most pain you ever feel in your life. It may knock you out, but you'll survive. As long as you're not next to a body of water or an electrical equipment or a tree, you'll probably be fine. And here's some ancient video game accessories, including the laser scope. Yes, infamously featured on the Angry Video Game Nerd. You know, it's that thing that you can use instead of a gun, and instead of pulling the trigger, you can yell, "Fire, fire, 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 fire!" Because that's just so much easier than using an actual NES zapper. You know, my guess is that kids who got this for their birthday used it for like 5 minutes before their parents finally ripped it off their heads and snapped the cord. Still, apparently they were decent enough headphones, so I don't know, keep them around for that. And then the Simulator 1 Action Chair. Yes, this is kind of like that rollin' rocker that the Angry Video Game Nerd also featured, except it's a chair. It's a full body experience. You just tilted yourself in the direction you wanted to go, and the other buttons were on the armrests, and when you moved, the game moved. At least that was the idea. Personally, like the rollin' rocker, that just seems like too much effort for a video game. When you're playing a video game, you want lightning fast reflexes, which, you know, your thumb gives you, but not your entire body. If you're going right and then you immediately want to go up, then you have to immediately position yourself up, and the milliseconds that adds onto the action registering on screen could, well, mean life or death for you. So, yeah, I can understand why these didn't take off, especially since they went for $190 in 1991 money. But apparently they did exist. Apparently they were marketed. I have found listings on eBay for these, but except, of course, today they go for like $5,000 plus. So if you ever find one of these in a thrift store somewhere, then sell it for a small fortune. The same can't be said for the Mega Play system, which is a fantastic concept. You have these ports that you can insert more than one game into, and then whenever you want to switch games, you just push a button and it loads up the game. which sounds like a fantastic way to play video games, especially for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which, if for anyone who has ever owned one remembers, the console actually bent the pins of the games, meaning that it slowly destroyed the games as you went. So if there was an external way to insert games, then that would be fantastic for the original Nintendo Entertainment System. But no, shortly after these were produced, they realized that if you tried to select the game as another game was playing, it would crash the system, probably even destroy the game, maybe even the system. So even though they were produced, they were never released. So I don't know where they got this price or that ordering information, because nope, these are probably just sitting somewhere in some warehouse collecting dust, and they will never ever see a use. They will never ever be released on eBay. And even the unreleased Aladdin Deck Enhancer got a release. Anyway, another ad for Tailspin Panini stickers. I think we already talked about that multiple times. And here's some different sports cards. These are football. They're Score. I don't remember if we ever put these in that subscription crate that I worked for. I don't know. If we did, then they weren't crates that I packed up, so I don't know. I guess it's different from those rookie NFL cards that we keep seeing ads for. So if you want some football cards from the 90s, then look for Score. I don't know. And here's our final comic for, of course, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Take this ranger, please! Only a fool, or a cat with fur balls for brains, would dare stand between Dale and his favorite show. And apparently we're dealing with British cats. Duff, me boy, pick your papers down there. It's a rescue ranger. Corey, please slow down. No way, Mom. We're not missing even a second of Captain Adventure. Me neither. Cap's the best. And so he got cheese from a fish shop? I mean, look at that. It's obviously a store, a grocery store dedicated solely to fish. It even has a swordfish up there, and oh God. Oh, that do you want to see that when you walk into any store whatsoever? A octopus hanging onto the window like that? That looks like the squid from the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea Disneyland ride. You know, an alarm sounds and the porthole opens and there's just this giant squid latched onto the submarine and scares you to death. At least that's what it used to do. Does that ride still exist? I don't remember. I don't think I've ever been to that actual theme park.
What's the big idea, Biff? We could have nabbed that caught a fish outside of Cleveland and you dropped the ball. Duff, that catch is nothing but smelly change. The boss has got a hefty bounty on them Rangers. You know, you kind of have to wonder, how do the Rescue Rangers get around without the cats always pouncing on them and collecting a reward? Then it's caviar days and sweet cream nights. Eep! And Gadget is watching from across the street. Wherever that is. I don't know. Just lucky that she happened to be on the top floor of somewhere. Kids, don't touch that dial! Captain Adventure's epic battle with Dr. Dowers, only 10 minutes away! What's keeping Dale? He's been rounding up cheese puffs for over an hour! Yeah, cheese puffs at a fish store. I don't know, figure that one out. Guys, you gotta come quick! Dale's been kidnapped! Crocky, and right before his favorite show! Oh look, Chip actually cares. In every other comic, he just acted like he wouldn't care if Dale's head was served to him on a silver platter, but no, he actually cares. That's a good sign. Hurry, we can still catch them! Biff, company's coming. Drat, we gotta lose them! A few minutes later, at the TV store not far away, Ranger, another wrong turn like that, and you'll be guest starring on Captain Adventure as a corpsicle. What did he do? Because all he's doing is reaching out to the TV because he wants to watch his show. Heads up, Biff. Them pesky pests are prowling topside. Gotta stash the goods, Daff. Any idea where? So wait, why did they get into that plane? Don't they have like a roller skate, a motor-powered roller skate? Wouldn't that get them there faster? The fire station. We'll hang out and watch Captain Adventure. Come on. And who asked you? Beggars for bright ideas can't be choosers. And they suddenly changed size because the entrance didn't really change that much size between panels, but now suddenly they're microscopic. Save that Ranger! We'll get him, save us! Evildoers flee in fear, Captain A is finally here. Right behind you, Captain. Ha! You got a date with Fat Cat, buddy boy. One that we poor folks wouldn't want you to miss. And this time you're not running off. Gee, if Captain Adventure got kidnapped, how did he get out of this one before they cut to commercial?
Suddenly everything's black and white and minimalistic, like Andy Warhol took over guest animating for one panel. Down there! Those two cats bagged Dale!
I should have known Fat Cat was behind this.
Well, yeah, he's like your only villain, besides that other scientist guy that I don't think showed up as much as Fat Cat did.
Hey guys, mind if I chew some gum? I'll share.
Where did he get the gum? He was tied up. How could he reach and get some gum? Yeah, good to see that the gum he likes is coming back in style. Also, he pops it in a cat's face, which, wait, how is he that close to a cat's face? He was on his back a second ago. Great continuity, I don't know.
That does it. Let him go. Gum is in my whiskers. Nothing's worth this.
You tell Fat Cat that. Come on.
Nice move. Captain Adventure will be proud.
Sure, but now what? We're surrounded.
Stay tuned for your exciting finish, Rangers.
I got it. Captain Adventure uses his multiple personality power to outnumber the bad guys. Now that's something we can do. This way.
Hi, we can double that reward, Daff. We got him all cornered. There, he's all mine.
Hold on, now he's over here. Yo, Biff, Daff, up here.
Impossible, we're surrounded by them.
Oh, you mean there's more than one chipmunk in the world? Oh, geez, this is a horror beyond horrors.
This is too weird. I'll hide it with this job. You, beat it. Go watch Captain Adventure or something.
Leave us alone. Yahoo, Gadget, your idea worked.
Hustle up, mates. The boss just stepped in.
Oh, boy. I know you don't usually wear pants, Dale, but somehow you with the shirts just makes you look completely and inappropriately naked. I don't know, it's kind of like that Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers robot chicken skit that I'm not gonna go into.
Biff, Daff, you furballs, don't just stand there. It's those crummy chipmunks. Get 'em. No way. You want 'em? You catch 'em.
Come on, let's hurry. Maybe we can catch the end of Captain Adventure. Oh, brother. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bop. Well, why are they reacting that way? It's like when he was pointing out the bleeding obvious in the other couple comics. But it's not his love of Captain Adventure that got him in that predicament. He just wants to go see his TV show now that they're not doing anything. I think that that's perfectly reasonable, don't you? And here's yet another contest, another thing to clip out, the Rocketeer Trivia Contest, and the grand prize winner gets to go to space camp. Oh, but you get to fly to space camp on Delta Airlines. That almost makes it worth it. And then first prize winners, 1-year subscription to Disney Adventures magazine. That's a worthwhile prizes too. And then Disney Comics Rocketeer graphic novel and Rocketeer pin. Yeah, I looked those up on eBay, and even 30 years later, no, they're worthless. But yeah, I don't know, keep them on your shelf and brag that they were your third prize reward in a Disney Adventures contest. And this is the most pathetic, most obvious trivia contest I have ever seen. Can the Rocketeer fly? Yes. Is the Rocketeer a villain? No. Or a hero? Yes. Is the Rocketeer human? Yes. Is the Rocketeer a man? Yes. Or a woman? No. And then the rest is just your normal fill-out stuff. Like, anyone who saw the Rocketeer intro, the Rocketeer interview from earlier in the magazine would already know all these questions. They don't even ask what's his name or what's the villain's name or what year this takes place in. This is like the easiest contest to enter, well, the easiest trivia contest I have ever seen. What's even the point of listing these questions? I mean, if you're going to be this obvious, then why don't you just ask the ultimate question? Does the Rocketeer have hands? Well, he probably won't if he continues to use that rocket and it explodes at some point. And we have reached the sports section where, once again, I don't have anything to really say, but it's Kelly Slater. Yes, I was joking about it being Michelangelo, but no, it's Kelly Slater. And if Andre Agassi is the god of tennis, then, well, Kelly Slater is the god of surfing. He has won the world championship in surfing 11 times. And yep, according to this, he's basically been surfing all his life. He's come up with a whole bunch of different tricks and different ways to ride a wave, and he's still going. He's 51, but he's still surfing, which Yeah, I can see. Unlike baseball or football or basketball, where every single muscle in your body is strained and you usually don't last more than a decade or two, I can see people still surfing into their 50s or even 60s. Because I think surfing's more of a mental sport. It's more of a where can I stand in order to get the best air time on a wave, the best wave time, the best skimming time on a wave. I don't know how you want to put it. And I don't know, as you get older, maybe the mass in the belly and the legs actually helps you with surfing. So I don't see a reason not to keep surfing even if you're in your 50s. But yeah, Kelly Slater is basically the only surfer that I know, and probably the only surfer that most people who aren't sports people know. I first heard about him when he was mentioned on an episode of Lilo and Stitch the series, and then he appeared in that weird Penguin Surfs Up movie. And then apparently they wanted to do to him what they were doing to Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk had like a dozen or two pro skateboarding games, and they wanted to do the same thing to Kelly Slater. They wanted to make a whole bunch of pro surfing games. So they released Kelly Slater's Pro Surfing 2002, 2003, one of those. And they even had Kelly Slater in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 to promote it. So yeah, they really wanted the project to go somewhere. But apparently surfboarding isn't as much of a fun activity as skateboarding. It doesn't have as much opportunity as the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games gave you. So it was just that one game, and apparently it got lukewarm reviews and didn't sell that well, and that was it. But hey, I don't think Kelly Slater needs the money. Like I say, he's won the championship multiple times. He's probably taken home thousands, if not millions of dollars. So hey, good for you. Keep going as long as you can. Surf's up, dude. And some mean, lean, muscled machines. Yes, back in the day, they were really focused on really souping up their cars. They gave them powerful V8 engines and smooth body jobs. And yeah, muscle machines are basically just a Frankensteining of the most powerful parts from other cars. So it was basically the equivalent of like a massive overclocked 64 gigabyte RAM computer today. But yeah, these things kind of stopped in the 80s, and then in the 90s they had a few models, and then in the 2000s they re-released a bunch of these muscle cars that they had in the 70s and 80s. And that's it. We haven't really had any resurgences of muscle cars since then, which, yeah, given the gas prices nowadays and the crowded streets, I can't say that I'm surprised. And here we go with the first story in the Casebusters series. Yeah, the Casebusters are a story series that I believe were created especially for Disney Adventures magazines. And it's just about some Hardy Boys-esque kids who go off and solve mysteries. And like a lot of the other stories that we've gone through in Disney Adventures, I'm not going to read this, especially since I believe that these stories were later published in their own books. And so I feel like by even showing this on screen that I am violating some kind of copyright, and that's going to get this video taken down. So I'm going to let you see it. Here's another page. And here's the final page. And we can continue the story in the next issue, but look for that. Or, just go out and buy the books, as you probably should be doing. And here's an ad for Disney's 101 Dalmatians, being re-released in theaters Friday, July 12th. Does Disney still do this? Does Disney still re-release their classics to the big screen every once in a while? I wish they did. I would gladly go to like a Disney movie marathon if it was shown in IMAX or something. And here's some more Marvel cards. We saw cards similar to these in another issue of this. I don't know if they're the same cards. So Marvel has just gotten card series after card series. Who remembers Genio? Who remembers those cards? They kind of played like war, and they were Marvel superheroes, but they were also kind of educational. I don't know. I wanted those cards when I was a young kid, but looking back on it, I don't know what I would have done with it. But yeah, you can trade the cards with other people, like, I don't know what superheroes they're going for here. I mean, maybe that's Sasquatch. Yeah, Sasquatch is a superhero in Marvel Comics. I think he's part of the X-Men. The Lizard, maybe, one of Spider-Man's enemies. I guess that's Spider-Man's glove, or Iron Man's glove, one of those. silver surfer glove maybe, and then some random kid's hand. Who cares? I don't know. It's not like they're holding any cards that give us a clue who they are. I mean, if that is the Lizard, he's holding one for the X-Men, and that's not the comic series he's from. Swap cards with everyone in the human race and some who aren't. I've never done the trading cards things. You know, I've collected trading cards, but I've never traded trading cards. I've traded Pokemon, though. Yeah, that's the era that I grew up in. And here we go with the puzzle section. A gift for Dad. Here are a bunch of real ugly ties, the kind we all think dads like to wear. Can you figure out how many ties there are, which tie is cut into 2 pieces, and which one is a fake tie? What do you mean fake tie? What kind of image are we going for with this fake tie? Like one that was drawn in? I don't know what you mean by that. Yeah, I got my dad a tie for his birthday one time. Oh, his reaction was such that I never got him a tie again. I never really got him anything for his birthday. He was always... I'm not even going to talk about my dad, okay? Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? 8 or 9. 8 or... I'm going to go with 8. And then it looks like the purple tie is the one that was cut in half because the bottom half there is very disconnected from the top half there. Either that or it's a very long tie and the rest of it is hiding underneath this plaid tie. And then fake tie? What is a fake tie? What do they mean fake tie? No, I have no idea. I don't know what they mean by fake tie. I guess I'll have to look at the answers and see what they're trying to point out. And here is a word search for all the presidents. I'm not going to figure this one out, but I will hold on it for a minute. And moving on. And a guy took his dog out for a walk, and the dog slips his leash and races off. So you gotta solve the dot to dot, and that creates a maze, and then you have to go through the maze. Ooh, 2 puzzles in 1. That means twice the boring. Not gonna do that. Weird words. Each of these drawings stands for a word or phrase. In the example to the right, plus a... Okay, yeah, I like these word puzzles. Let's see how we do. Ice-T. Was Ice-T a rapper back then? Yeah, I think he was. I think he was in those break-in movies that were like in the 80s. So yeah, everybody knew what Ice-T was, who Ice-T was. That's obviously Spring Break. Whether you are... Yeah, whether you are below... You are under the weather. You are under the weather. Okay, I got that. 10 pyramid. 10, top 10. Okay, it must be top 10. And then, so that's under, if we're going with that, that's an under, then this must be I understand, ha ha ha. That's obviously hot lunch, rock star, homework, and music video. Yeah, music video. Those kind of look like ants. But no, I don't think that ant video works. So it must be music video. And now we've taken some favorite movie titles and replaced certain letters with pictures. Each picture suggests something from the movie, but it also looks like the letter it replaces. Can you figure out all 7 titles? I can figure these out without even figuring out what the icons are supposed to stand for. So that's obviously Dances with Wolves. And that's obviously Look Who's Talking, the baby movie that I absolutely despise. That is Mary Poppins. This was a harder one, but this is Kindergarten Cop, that old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Now that is Robin Hood. Which Robin Hood? I'm guessing the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, because that just came out around this time. That's obviously Batman. And this is Dick Tracy. And probably the last time Dick Tracy will ever be referenced in these magazines. Okay, here are the answers. Now, what about the ties? What about the ties? Where's the tie? There are 10 ties in okay. The tie with the purple swirls is cut into 2 pieces. I got that one. The green tie with white polka dots is the fake tie. Okay, green tie with white polka dots. What do they mean by that? So that's the green tie with white polka dots, but how is that a fake tie? It looks like a tie. No, I don't get that. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that green tie with white polka dots. But how is that fake? Is it drawn? I don't know. The perspective on these ties is so bad that I can't even tell. I don't know. Here's another Captain Crunch caper.
Can you find the Peanut Butter Crunchbird's egg, 2 of the Captain's cereal boxes, and the Soggies?
Yeah, right when I saw the picture, in fact. So there's the Soggies, obviously. They crashed and they're getting written a ticket. There's the egg. I finally figured out that that's an egg and not a berry bush. And then there's 1 box and there's 2 box. So now I gotta color them in and send a surprise. And offer expires August 31st, 1991. So yep, a couple of years before I was born, so I don't think I'm getting anything out of that. Coming up next in Disney Adventures, Hulk Hogan. I think that's the guy that they were supposed to interview for this magazine. That's something that threw me off with the last issue, but I guess we'll get to that when we get to the next issue. Here's another ad for Starburst. Again, I have found Starburst at stores, but they no longer have Starburst in that format, in that little stick that you can get by the cashiers at a local grocery store. Or maybe they do, but I have not seen them that way. You have to buy them in bulk nowadays. And here is the Tiger Electronics Little Mermaid handheld game. Again, I think we already went through this, so I have absolutely nothing else to say about that. And there you have the July 1991 issue of Disney Adventures. So, what did we learn this time? That if you voice a popular kid character on a popular Disney cartoon, that maybe one day you could become the CEO of your own media empire. That DuckTales did the shrinking plot years before Ant-Man made it cool, therefore it wasn't cool. Actually, they did it twice. There was an episode of DuckTales where they shrank, except they were much more consistent in how small they shrank. They were like little dust mites compared to what they were in this comic. So, yeah, they shrunk twice. That even magazines care about a character that an actor is playing than the actor himself. And nothing starts up a theological discussion quite like the dinosaurs. There you go. I hope you enjoyed our look through this issue of Disney Adventures magazine. If you liked the video, if you liked my commentary, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It's how these videos get noticed. And if you want to be really awesome, please check out my Patreon. It's only $1 to be listed at the end of these videos, and for only $5, I will shout your name and applaud you for giving me $5 so that I can continue this channel. But whatever you decide to do, stay awesome, stay happy, be safe, and I'll see you again for another issue of Disney Adventures magazine.